Ciao Bella, welcome to Bella Uncinetto. I'm Christina and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. I hope that today's video sound is better. I did have some comments and a few emails excuse me, about some of the sound last week. Maybe I didn't plug my mic in. I don't know. Um, we'll see, right? So today I thought that I would do a book look. I haven't done one in a while, and I have a growing stack of books. And this is one that I got recently. I was debating on whether or not I should do them in order of how I got them, but I thought, no, I really I really want to dive into this book. So I thought, let me do this one and then we can see what happens, right? So, this book I just showed you recently. This is Crochet Fairy Tales, Cottage Stories. There's over 40 patterns in here, and this book I purchased many months ago, but it had not been printed yet, so it wasn't technically published yet, but I bought like whatever that's called. I pre-ordered the book. So when it came out, it got sent to me, and I showed it in a Happy Mail video recently. But I thought I would go through it just because I really just want to crack it open again. So maybe we can do that together. All right. So this is by Carrie Lord, and it is by David and Charles is the publishing company. And I did talk about that, about how David and Charles is one of my favorite publishing companies for crochet books, amigurumi specifically. So I was excited when I saw this and that it was published by David and Charles. Okay, so right now you can only get this book in hardcover. I don't know if there will be a paperback version. I kind of like that it's in hardcover because you get that, well, at least I get that nostalgic fairy tale reading feel from when I was growing up. If you don't know, I am an avid reader. I read probably more than I crochet, to be honest, because my daughter is a very light sleeper. So if I am trying to watch a tutorial or if I have a light on after she goes to sleep and I don't have like my door closed or something, she will wake up. Like, what's that? Oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? So I tend to read with like a lamp, or I'll read on my Kindle at nighttime, and I will spend many an hour reading. It's harder to crochet with just the lamp, especially for some of the things that I'm working on right now because it's a darker yarn or smaller stitches or whatever. So I'm also, my eyes aren't 20 anymore. So, um, even growing up though, I read a whole lot. Um, like so much. My mom would get very frustrated with me because she would buy me books and I'd be done with them before the week was over. And she'd be like, I just bought you that book. I have to spend money on more books. And I mean, she wasn't mad at me for reading, but it was like what she felt was like an alarming rate that I was going through these things. And we were not close to a public library. I did check out lots of books from my school library. Um, we were not close to any store. So when we did go into town, right, because we lived out in the country. So when we went into town, it was usually on a weekend and it was a all day affair, right? We would do all of our errands that we had to do in town on that day because my mom was not going back into town again. So heaven help me if I forgot something for a project for school, or if I got something for a project for school that was due later that week, but I didn't get it until Monday. Well, we were going to make do with what we had, or I heard about it. So, um, yeah, there weren't like dollar stores or anything like that near me when I was growing up. It was always quite a drive to get there, right? So anyway, this brings back a lot of memories from some of the books that I would check out, some of the books that I was gifted growing up, because everyone in my family knew that I loved to read, and so getting me a book was always a sure bet as a gift, right? So anyway, we'll crack this open, right? Shall we? So I always try very carefully not to break the spines of my books. Oh, now I have other books to look at. It says other titles available in this fairy tale series: Animal Fables and Castle Tales. Well, it looks like I have some researching to do. So if you want anything else in these fairy tale series, because this is cottage stories, but there are castle tales and animal fables. So we might have to have a little look-see and see what we can find. Um, okay, so it looks like, oh, that's cute. So there's an introduction, how the book works, I guess the story of how this came to be, yarn and tools, stuffing and sewing up, how to read a pattern, which is nice. You don't always get how to read a pattern in a book, and there are lots of people who don't have um, books of patterns because they don't know how to read them. They use tutorials or they just create things, and then if they don't write it down, they may not remember how they created it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but it's always an adventure, right? Um, okay, so, and then it says the stories and then epilogue, which is some more techniques and things. Okay, so this is the table of contents, right? And remember, in a book look, I'm not going to show you every single page, but I am just kind of walk you through the book a little bit. Okay, so this is just talking about why fairy tales were chosen. Okay, so here's a little bit. It says, um, Animal Fables, which is one of the other books in the series, tackles the stories where animals come in trios. So, like the Three Little Pigs, the Billy Goat's Gruff, Goldilocks, the Three Bears, that kind of thing. Does not say anything about the castle one. Oh, okay. Never mind. Just kidding. The third title explores the world of princesses. All right, so here we go. Um, okay. So it does give you how to use the book. So this book is written in UK crochet terms, but it does give you the conversion for the chart, which is nice. So it's good to know that going in. It is written in UK crochet terms. So this is a story of the yarn, Toft Yarn. So Carrie Lord is also the founder of Toft Yarn. Good to know. I've never heard of Toft Yarn. I'll have to check it out. We'll have to see because I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, so all of the patterns in this book were created using this palette of colors. So if you, you know, I mean, you can do it in any color. That's the beautiful thing about amigurumi. You can do it in any yarn, any weight yarn, any color, any style you want, because the pattern is the pattern. You don't have to adjust it for the size yarn that you're using, it will just be bigger or smaller. So if you used a chunky yarn, it's going to come out bigger. If you used thread, it's going to come out teeny tiny, right? So it all depends on what you use, but the pattern is the pattern in amigurumi, which is the lovely thing about it. Some stuff about tools, characterization. Okay, so this talks about skin tones and hair colors, and this was a palette that was used for that. Okay. Okay, and then it talks about some of the techniques that were used on the hair for some of the different characters, which I'm not going to go into specifically, but there are 4 different hair styles, and it shows how that's used. Okay. Stuffing and sewing up, so the advice on how to do some of the stuffing. Okay. Reading a pattern. Okay, so it walks you through charts and written patterns. Now, I'm not going to show you this because the patterns themselves are copyrighted, right? The stories that are in here are not copyrighted stories. And the pictures, I can show you the pictures, but I can't show you the patterns. Those are copyrighted. And that's one of the things with a book look is you're not going to get the pattern for free, right? So, because that's against the law. So, here are the stories. This is the introductory page to the stories. So you can see some of the characters. Can you guess some of the characters? Because I haven't told you any of them. I mean, you know it's cottage stories, but what maybe do you think is going to happen in here? But those just look so cute. Okay. So you have Little Red Riding Hood, and it tells you, so you get the story. So here's the story, and then you get patterns that come along with the story. So you get, in this one, you get Red Riding Hood, the basket of cake and wine, the grandmother's nightgown, the posy of flowers, and the wolf. And if you want to create everything in the story, it tells you how much yarn of the Toft yarn that you're going to need. So if you use a different size of yarn, you may need different yardage, right? So this was done with DK yarn. So if you used a bigger, like if you used an Aran, or if you used a lightweight yarn, your yardage would be different, your grams would be different. But it tells you all of that. And then it starts going into the patterns. So this is Little Red Riding Hood and the basket. Put a little focus. And then, oh, that's a cute picture. I already showed you the basket. So this is the wolf. Let me see if I can. Because I definitely don't want to show you the pattern. There we go. This is the wolf. Okay. And then, oh. This shows a little posy of flowers and the grandmother's nightgown. That's cute. When the wolf dresses up as the grandmother. Oh my goodness. Okay, and so then the rest of the book follows pretty much the same situation. You get the story, you get the patterns, and so forth. So the next one is Thumbelina. And then you get the tulip, Thumbelina, the lily pad, the toadstools, the swallow, the wedding outfit, and the wings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or you could say 7 if you counted the wedding outfit and the wings as separate things. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so you have, this is the tulip, but this also shows Thumbelina. So this is her little thing there. And then you have Thumbelina herself. I love that little crocheted in the pot there. The lily pad and the toadstools, which there was a picture, you could see the toadstools in the introductory one. Oh, that swallow is so cute. Okay, so I'm going to show you this because it shows you the swallow and Thumbelina and the wedding outfit and wings. So it kind of shows you, oh, my nose itches. Somebody was cutting grass today and it was a lot. So that is so pretty with the swallow. I love how these pictures were staged too. It's so beautiful. So, so beautiful. Oh, and then you see the backs of the wings. That's a cool, I'm not going to show you the design, but it's a cool design on the back of the wings. So Jack and the Beanstalk is the next one. And you get Jack, the Beanstalk, and the Seedling, the Giant's Chicken, the Golden Harp, and the Golden Egg. So the Golden Egg pattern is not in this section. It says, see reading a pattern. And that was the pattern that they showed you how to read. So you'd have to go back to the beginning of the book to get that pattern, but it is there. And the axe and the rucksack. So this is Jack with the little and then the Beanstalk and the Seedling. Oh, like look at this staging, you guys. Like this is just awesome. Like, you know, sometimes you get books, well, sometimes I get books and I'm like, oh, there's not really any good pictures. Like, these are amazing pictures. So yeah, you get like the pictures that are perfunctory that kind of show you the image, but these are like really beautifully staged. And there is some beautiful artwork in the book as well, like around the patterns. So pretty. And so then you have the chicken and the egg and the harp. Let's see if there's... Okay. So this shows you the egg, the harp, and the chicken all at once. So I can show you all of those things. Right. And there's the rucksack that he has. Because the next pattern is the rucksack and the axe. But okay, so then the next one is Snow White. And you get Snow White, the pickaxe, the 7 dwarves, the poison apple, and the roses. Now I know Sam over at Memphis Makes, she didn't make this because this book wasn't out yet, but I know that she's made 7 dwarves before. So here's the chapter, right, the story. And then here's Snow White in the mirror. Like, just look at that. That is just so cool. Pickaxe. And then here's some of the dwarves. All 7 of them. And then you have things to create the specific dwarves. So it gives you specific things on those dwarves. there's a picture of the apple. Let me show you. There's a little apple with the poison on it. And then the roses that would go around her, it's like the flowers that go around her casket. Oh, even this little artwork is so cute. Okay, and then Hansel and Gretel, and I want to say that's the last one. No, there's one more. Okay, so you have Hansel and Gretel, you get the story, and you get Hansel and Gretel, the fire, the crab and the bone, the duck and the fir tree. So this is Hansel and Gretel right there, which is super cute. And then this is the fire. Oh, I can't show you that without showing you the pattern. But you get the little fire to put in there. Ooh. And then they give you Hansel and Gretel pattern separate, so that's what I'm flipping through right now. And then you get the crab and the bone. There. It's them. And then the duck. There. And then the fir tree. Oh, which maybe they showed you in a different picture. I don't know. So then the final one is the elves and the shoemaker. And I just did this story with some of my students a couple weeks ago. So it was really interesting to get back into this story because I had not read this story in a really long time. So you get the elder elf, the younger elf, the gifted clothes, and the hammer. And so these are the elves, it looks like. With the hammer. Okay. And so then I just have to show you the gifted clothes. Go through all of these other patterns. Oh, that's cute. Okay. The gifted clothes. All right. And then it goes into, that's the last story. So then it goes into some of the techniques of like marking your stitches. You can use yarn. I like to use stitch markers, and stitch markers can be safety pins, pieces of yarn, right? They don't have to be fancy if you don't have the ability to do that. It could just be very simple things. So it does say the patterns in this book all use British crochet terminology and common crochet abbreviations. See the how to use this book for the table of conversions to US terminology, but it does give you a list of abbreviations. So most of these are fairly simple if you're not new to crochet, but if you are new to crochet, this is very helpful, right? And it's nice for books to have these things, even if the person who gets the book is not new to crochet. They don't need that, but these books should be made for a variety of levels of crocheters. So I think it's nice that they have things in here like how to read a pattern. What do these abbreviations mean? Some little tutorials of some of the different things, because this makes it more accessible to a wider variety of people. And that is lovely to see books that do that. Not to say that all books have to do it, but it's nice when they actually do it, right? Because some books are written for advanced crocheters, and they will tell you that, hopefully, in the beginning of it. And hopefully, before you buy the book and you read the description, it tells you this is for advanced or intermediate crocheters. But sometimes they don't do that. Okay, so then there's some stitches and some techniques and about the author. So, oh, there's some embroidery things as well for some of the patterns that are in there. Okay, so this is Carrie Lord. If you wanted to see who wrote all of these wonderful things, and the creator of Toft Yarn. All right, so thank you for walking through this book with me. And it looks like I have some other books to go and research, right? All right, so with that, I will leave you. I hope that you are having a wonderful week. And until I see you again, be well, be safe, and be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao, Bella!